Guy, it's good to have you on. You know, we
Liz,
talk a
thanks for
lot
having me
about
back.
you need to get, it's good to see, the need to get America vaccinated and fast. We've got these distracting fights involving the Biden administration, you know, taking credit for Trump's policies and undercutting Trump's policies. There was a big fight over, you know, with the reporter and a spokesman for the Trump administration about the gas pipeline in Germany from out of Russia. Basically, Trump pushed back on that, and now the Biden administration pushing back on that, saying they deserve the credit. What do you say to that story?
Well, there's a common theme here, and that's Joe Biden taking credit, like you said, for accomplishments that President Trump got done in his administration. And he can get away with it because the mainstream media did not fairly and accurately cover the President Trump administration. So when Joe Biden makes these outrageous claims, he gets away with it unquestioned. Thankfully, we have Fox News and Fox Business to call him out. But when you look at the pipeline itself, President Trump worked with 18 businesses to make sure that Russia cannot build a pipeline into Germany to exert control over Germany and Western Europe. And when you look at the vaccines, it was the Trump plan. It was Operation Warp Speed that brought all these vaccines to market. The fact that Joe Biden is saying there wasn't a plan while simultaneously implementing the plan that President Trump had in place is completely outlandish. And thankfully, you and the conservative media are calling out Biden for misleading the public, frankly, Liz.
Well, let's listen to the fight that happened over Trump's geopolitics and his policies when it came to Russia and Germany and that pipeline. Let's listen to this fight.
You guys have only been only been in office for a month, right? Are you telling me that in the last 4 weeks, these 18 companies all of a sudden decided to say, oh my God, we better not do anything with Nord Stream 2?
I am speaking for the
all of that. You guys are taking credit for stuff that the previous administration did. Right?
I am not.
No?
I am speaking for the Department of State.
Okay.
The people who have been working this, the people who are working this now, were the same people a month ago.
Okay, that was an Associated Press reporter, Matt Lee. And, you know, Republicans have criticized the Biden administration for being inadequate with the sanctions on that, slapping on a redundant set of duplicate sanctions that were already put on that pipeline project by Trump. What do you say to that?
Well, congrats to the AP reporter for holding the Biden administration's feet to the fire. But the Biden administration is completely backtracking on this policy, and where Trump had successes, what the Biden administration is doing is they're doubling down while denying the plan that Trump had, whether it be foreign policy or the vaccines. And normally the press doesn't call them out on it. So it's interesting to see Biden and those around him simultaneously condemn Trump and his administration while implementing the same exact measures that Trump did where they want to capitalize on it. And like I said, the pipeline in the vaccines.
Okay. And there's also pushback on President Biden and Kamala Harris saying, the vice president saying, they inherited an empty cabinet. They're starting from scratch when it comes to COVID-19 vaccines. Let's listen to Trump's former HHS chief of staff, Brian Harrison, take that on. Watch this.
It's absolutely amazing, you know, with 1.7 million vaccines being administered a day. It's fascinating to watch a president and a vice president executing a plan while simultaneously denying its existence. For that to be true, you would have to believe that the top logistician in the United States Army 4-star General Gus Perna, who I had the privilege of serving with, didn't think to order enough vaccines for Operation Warp Speed. When you look at all of our portfolio of vaccines under Operation Warp Speed, we purchased 1 billion vaccine doses, enough to vaccinate all Americans actually many times over.
So, Congressman, if they inherited an empty cabinet starting from scratch, how did they all of a sudden get to 1.7 million vaccinations a day?
Exactly. It totally defies logic, common sense, and the facts on the ground. Remember that Biden and Harris got vaccinated themselves before being sworn in. So clearly there were vaccines. We were also, Liz, on track to vaccinate 100 million Americans within, whoever the president would have been, within those first 100 days. So the fact that Biden got out and said that was his goal, well, that actually undershot the goal that Trump was on track to vaccinate during that same period of time. They've completely ignored the facts. They completely have abandoned logic, and they get away with it because the media does not hold the Democrats to account, and they did not cover Trump fairly and accurately.
And to your point, National Institutes of Health Director Francis Collins says the Trump administration deserves a lot of credit, a great deal of credit, for ramping up so rapidly on the COVID-19 vaccines. It's great to have you on, Congressman. Good to see you.
Liz.
Come back soon.
Thank you. Will do.